This week on Talk of the Town, we met with the White family about Griffin's comeback to baseball after battling cancer. Our business spotlight is Two Sisters Trailer and their delicious ice cream. They'll be at Wheat and Beet Days this weekend, so be sure to check them out along with all the fun.
I'm Michelle. I'm sister number 1.
And I'm Cheyenne. I'm sister number 2. We're only sister number 1 and 2 because I'm the youngest.
And I'm the oldest. And we are Two Sisters Trailers. We started our business back in November when we found a horse trailer that was modified and ready to go for a mobile bar or other options for receptions, birthday parties, different options and things that are available. And we decided that we wanted to do something. We've been wanting to do something together for a long time. Our actual business name is 13 Years because there's 13 years between the two of us. And we
we're
just
best friends.
Yeah.
And so me and my husband, we actually found the trailer down here at the Tremont Fairgrounds, yeah. And we were like, hey, we just joked. We were like, what if we bought that? And then we joked with them. We're like, hey, what if we bought a trailer together?
So
and then
we bought a trailer.
We bought a trailer together, and then next thing we knew, we were buying an ice cream machine, and then we were renting it out for other events, and now we're here at the farmers market, and it's just been one thing after another, and it's just kind of been like a snowball effect of a business, and we've loved it. It's been
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have lots of things to rent, backdrops, table things, the ice cream booth that you see here today, the machine itself. So got lots of options.
Even rent us with everything too to make your event easy breezy and
worry-free.
Yeah. I got married 9 years ago, and at my wedding we served ice cream out of buckets from Farr's Ice Cream. And I think that was kind of like, well, what if we did, like, how cool would it have been if I had soft serve at my wedding back then? And so we actually did like a bridal market or fair back in February, I think is when it was.
Last year, yeah.
And so we were like, well, how cool would that be, like, if we presented that to the public? And everyone loved the idea of having a soft serve ice cream. And so when we saw how much people loved the idea, we were like, let's do it. So then we looked into what was the best ice cream machine, and it took us months
to figure out what we needed to get started.
Yep.
And I'm sure over time we'll expand and do more, but we got to start somewhere, and we're excited.
Yep.
There's always the classic vanilla and chocolate. That's one of everybody's favorites because it's a classic, but we've been venturing out to do some lime, strawberry, raspberry has been our favorite.
Pineapple. We tried a pineapple and strawberry together, and that was divine.
It was super good.
Yep.
We kind of played off of the key lime pie with our lime. That was a lot of fun with a little graham cracker crust.
We're even looking to like some pumpkin spice for in the October time. So like
we've got some things coming.
Yeah, we got some stuff up our sleeve. So
and our kids aren't disappointed to test it out. We've got 6 of them between the two of us, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they can come in different colors. So they're kind of just like our signature cups that when you purchase them, you can come back in any time that we're out. You can get a refill on for $1.50. So they're $6.50 up front, and then that comes filled with ice cream. So if you see anybody walking around with them, they're filled with ice cream. And then you come back for $1.50 ice cream, soft serve, which is kind of unheard of having $1.50 ice cream. But
we just wanted something fun, and Cheyenne came up with the idea and was like, we need to do something, and we love it. It's a lot of fun. The kids like to use them for other things too, but we love to see people come back and repeat because that means it's something good, and we love it.
Talking to other people around the community, they have said how much they've loved them, and like even just like collecting all the colors and stuff that they've just loved being able, like their kids have loved like eating cereal out of them and just collecting them. So honestly, the idea came from going to Lagoon and how they have those slushy cups that you can collect every year. And so we were like, well, what if we did that with our business? That like you come and get a collectible cup from just us. So it's called our Sisters Cup. So come and get a Sisters Cup from us. And so anyways.
And today we're testing out root beer floats. So there's always something new and creative that we're trying to come up with. So we'll have, like Shai said, a little bit this fall with some different things.
Yeah.
So we're going to be at the farmers market here in Tremont when we can. We have Wheat and Beet Days coming up in August. You can always find us on Instagram and Facebook at Two Sisters Trailers. We'll be posting there. Cheyenne lives here in this area, so she actually posts in the Tremont and Classifieds when she's out and about. And that helps with the signature cups or sister cups.
Yep, you can find either of us on Facebook. So Cheyenne Larson, Michelle Ward, friend us on Facebook, message us, and we'll go ahead and friend us. That's how we've actually gotten all of our bookings, is just through word of mouth and messaging us. Like, this community has been amazing for us, so we're happy.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Talk of the Town is made possible by supportive sponsors who love our community. Show your love by supporting them today. Garland City Days will be held this weekend. Be sure to check out all the fun events they have planned. They say there's no crying in baseball, but those who think so obviously haven't heard Griffin White's story. He and his family have always had a passion for baseball and recently faced hurdles that Griff took in stride. He's faced much, but has adapted to ensure that baseball remains a big part of his life. Due to great support and plenty of grit, Griff has overcome much and learned lasting lessons on life and baseball.
I'm Griffin White. I'm 14.
And how long have you been playing baseball?
Since I was 4.
What is it that you like about baseball?
Everything. I like to hit. I like to play first base. I love to pitch. I like to golf and fish and hunt. It's just fun.
And how is it being a part of this team?
It's fun. New friends, different age. It's pretty cool.
And do you have some goals for the future as some things you want to either accomplish this year or as you head into high school?
To be able to pitch.
Since you've been back, what's been your best moment in baseball?
I've hit 2 home runs since cancer. It's pretty cool, especially against my rivals, the Wolverines, and pitching in a game. That's pretty cool. He should have been struck out, but I don't know. The umpire was watching a different game. But I ended up getting it out. A kid hit one back at me and fielded it and threw it to first and got him out.
How are some of the ways you've had to adapt to be able to be the great player you still are today?
Well, I don't have to run the bases, which is a plus. But throwing, it's different. Hitting, it's been pretty close to the same. I have to wear a big old brace, but it's not that bad.
I heard you look kind of cool with that on, kind of like the Bane and Batman kind of a feel. Do you intimidate pitchers that way?
A lot of people just think it's a new accessory that nobody else has found out yet, but usually their jaw drops when I tell them why. It's pretty funny. When I catch left-handed still, and then I have to take my glove off, grab the ball, and then throw. Takes longer, but it'll get faster. It's different, but it's getting more normal. Done it a lot.
We grew up here, Tree Mountain, Elwood. We currently live in Elwood. We got 4 boys, Boston, Griffin, Mitt, and Drew.
Griffin, he just turned 14. He's the second boy in our family. I would say out of all of our boys, he's the peacemaker. He doesn't like to be, he never has liked to be real rowdy and rambunctious like the others. They all like to wrestle, and he's kind of more chill. He's kind of fiery at times. He knows what he wants. He's pretty determined, but he's a good egg. He's probably the most empathetic person, always has been in our family. Just super compassionate, has a lot of empathy for people just naturally.
How important has baseball been to you and your family?
It's been a big part of it. I grew up playing, ever since I was a little kid.
And I played softball growing up too.
Yeah, so I guess we let our kids play, and that's just a sport that they just have all just wanted to keep playing.
It takes up every weekend in the summer between one of the 4 boys, multiple weeknights, games, practices the other nights. I mean, from March to about July or August, it's baseball. We're in baseball mode. It's a big part of our life. Yeah. Boston, his older brother's just 2 years older than him, but Griffin's always been like the same size as Boston. So he just seemed like he was always older, and he's just had like crazy hand-eye coordination his whole life. And so as we signed Boston up like a year later, then we just had Griffin play on the same team. And so he's played like City League for a couple of years, but then he started competitive baseball at the age of 6. January of 2023, that's when his team would start like working out in the Bear Center. They would throw and hit, and he would come home after practice and he would say, "Oh, my arm hurts when I throw," and we're like, this is early, like when you're just starting to pitch, you've probably overworked it or strained something, and So we would ice it, we would do icy hot, we would ibuprofen, we got him like a stretch band to do some exercises at home, and nothing really seemed to help.
Josh Judkins and Dallas Miller's team, the 13U team, well, they would have been 12U at the time, and they invited him to come down to St. George to play in their tournament, and so his other team didn't have anything going on, so we took him down there, and he probably played some of the best baseball I've ever watched him play in. I mean, he hit just incredible, but he kept saying his arm was hurt, so we didn't let him pitch, but he was playing first base in one of the games, and they had a ball, it was hit to him, he fielded it, and he touched first, and he turned to throw it to second, and he threw it really hard, and he came out after that inning, and he came over to me, and he said, "Dad, my arm is like dead, it hurts." And I'm like, "Where?" And he says, "It's right here in the middle, you know." And I'm like, that's a weird spot, just because usually your arm gets hurt and like right here, maybe underneath the elbow and into the shoulder, but it was right here, and I just thought, that's a weird spot. So I said, "Well, just take it easy, you know, we'll get it checked out. We're thinking maybe it was a hairline fracture or something."
I called Dr. Higby's office and got him in to get an x-ray. And, you know, he's really good at elbows and shoulders, and so that's who we wanted to go to. And they took an x-ray, and immediately Dr. Higby was on to something. But he did it in the most amazing way that let me know that there was more than likely something very serious going on. Dr. Higby was definitely guided by how he was able to, you know, tell me that there was something serious, but Griffin didn't pick up on that. And so I wasn't willing to accept what Dr. Higby told me until we had, you know, a diagnostic confirmation that for sure we were dealing with bone cancer or osteosarcoma. We were leaving later that day, or the next day maybe, to go down to another St. George tournament. And we were able to we had a friend in St. George that works in the radiology department. He got him into MRI really fast, and we did the MRI in St. George, and later that Monday, I think, is when they called and confirmed that they were pretty certain it was osteosarcoma, but that we needed a bone biopsy to double check. Osteosarcoma was confirmed on, I think, March 28th of 2023, and they put in his port that same day for chemotherapy.
That tournament that he went down and he got the MRI, we kind of knew. And so, and everybody, we had to sit him out. The doctor's like, "Don't let him throw, because if his arm breaks," because that's basically it weakens that bone so much that they're like, "We don't know how far it's progressed." And so that weekend was probably one of the, it was hard. Just knowing that he was probably going to be up against, but he didn't know. We wanted him to have as just as normal of a weekend as he could, with swimming and being with his teammates, but he couldn't play. He didn't really know why, and we just told him, "Hey, your arm's hurt, so we're just going to sit you out," you know, and we're not, but even hitting, they didn't want him to do anything, so we held him out completely. And so we had all the parents from his team they were concerned, and they were asking, and we were trying to put on a tough face, saying, and it's okay, but man, it was brutal. It was really hard, and we knew how much everybody cared, but we kind of told people that wasn't looking good.
We took Griffin with us to St. George, and he had a phenomenal tournament. I think he was 9 for 10 with, I think, 1 home run, maybe 2 triples and a double. I mean, just he was on fire. The right before tournament play, we invited him to pitch. Asked him if he'd warm up on the side, and he came over to us and told us that he was injured and he couldn't do it. And we didn't know at the time what was wrong with him. We just thought it was a sore arm. But I think that kind of tipped off his parents. They took him in and had him looked at by the doctor, and the doctor, that was when they diagnosed him. And I think it was devastating at the time. It was devastating for us, but we felt good about the fact that he had played with us in St. George and had such a great tournament. If that was the last tournament that he ever got to play, that meant something, because it was such a great tournament for him. We actually had some fundraisers lined up that were not necessarily for Griffin, and then once we found out what had happened, we took some of those funds and donated it to the White family. Everybody had the Grit for Griff wristbands. We wore those the entire year. We had the Grit for Griff stickers that you can still see on some of our guys' helmets, and guys are happy to wear that. And then I think everybody in his grade, and definitely everybody on our team, shaved their heads in support of him, and we love him, and it was good to support him.
Well, I sent a text out to a group of his friends' moms just saying, I want you guys to hear from the source, from us, you know, if someone starts talking. But Griffin has been diagnosed with osteosarcoma, it's bone cancer. He starts chemotherapy within the week. And just, you know, let your boys know that Griffin's strong. And we have like a good feeling it's gonna be okay. He's gonna beat it. He's gonna be okay. And so it started right there. One of his best friend's moms, she immediately made a bracelet, said grit for Griff. And then, but the grit, she didn't even know, but the grit, because I wanted to make a bracelet that said grit like Griff, because his orthopedic surgeon, when they finally came in and told Griffin, like, you know, the biopsy is back, we know what we're dealing with. He put it in like the cutest analogy for him as a baseball player. He said, you know, I hear you're a pitcher. And Griff's like, yeah, I'm a pitcher. And he said, well, I don't know a lot about baseball, but what I do know about baseball players and pitchers especially is they have to have grit. They have to have a determination. They have to work hard. And I think that all of this hard work of you playing baseball over the years is preparing you for this fight that you have right now. And you have grit. You can do this. And the last thing he said was that we win some and we lose some, but we mostly win in this type of cancer. So that's where the grit came from, but his friend's mom had already got that slogan, grit like Griff, and so the word just kind of started spreading, I guess. The kids, their parents, and the school started rallying right off the bat. And then it just exploded from there.
Yeah, big time. It's been, I mean, couldn't have asked for better support from everybody. I mean, the whole community. It just came from everywhere. It's really cool to see, you know, but the whole time Griff's going through this down there at the hospital, you get around on those units and there's a lot, you know, it's pretty somber. And you see kids who are in even just way worse situations, and little kids, you know, and I remember one day Griff was walking around the unit one day, and, you know, he had his chemo treatments and he feels like garbage, and he said to us one day.
He got really emotional.
Yeah, and he said, you know, he says, this could be a lot worse. He says, I feel lucky. I feel lucky. You know, and you just sit there and you're just like, okay. I'm glad you feel that way, you know, and like, where did that even come from? I don't even know. You know, and so he had a glove made and he put on the inside of it, I feel lucky, you know, that was one of his things, you know, but he never complained one time. They give him, 8 rounds of chemo, and then he went in for surgery, and that's where they had to remove that, pretty much half of his arm up to his shoulder, and they cut him open and they cut that arm, that bone out, removed it all.
And then the surrounding tissue.
And the surrounding tissue, so there's just nothing there. And then they took his right fibula out of his right leg and they more or less transported it and put it into his right arm. So that's what's in there now, and they grafted it in there and they sewed him up, and then he's just been trying to heal that. So his arm doesn't work like your shoulder does. It doesn't rotate, doesn't have a ball.
And the nerve is gone.
Yeah, and they had to cut the nerve because it had been compromised with the cancer as well. And so his arm doesn't function like his other arm. So it just kind of, more or less, they call it a hanging arm. And so he can move it around. He gets movement like this, but he can't pick his arm up to lift.
This is about as high as he can.
So he can't throw it. Yeah. He's made some adjustments. It's been neat to watch. Unfortunately, we had to go through it, but it's been inspiring to watch and to be a part of it, and just, I don't know, he gives us frustrations at different things, but this is something that's just, we learned a lot from him.
He's been positive from the get-go. He's just realized, like, I can complain, but it's not going to change anything. It's just going to make it worse. So he's always tried to find the good, the positive, and he really has. It's been amazing. It's really a miracle.
Finally, when it was done walking out of there, you know, going home, that was pretty neat. But we still knew we had a long ways to go because he still had a wound vac on his leg. His leg wasn't healing, just because it had some infections. And so we fought that until
February.
He had some really cool experiences even with that on. He was able to go hunting. He had probably the best year of hunting he'll ever have, honestly, in his life, just because of some people in the valley that said, hey, you know what, we want to do this for him. All those guys just spent time and made him feel special and just said, hey man, we're here for you. We'll help you anyway, and they did, and it was incredible.
Once chemotherapy was over, that was such a relief, but we knew, like he said, we had a big road ahead. He had to do physical therapy for his arm, and just strength in general. I mean, he had laid in a hospital bed for 7 months, but now he goes to the hospital every 3 months, gets MRIs, CT scans, blood draws, and meets with his oncologist every 3 months for 2 years, and then it'll space out from there, go to every 6 months. So we feel relief and like we're done, but every 3 months we're reminded that this was part of his life and we keep dealing with it.
How's it been watching him adapt and come back into baseball in a different way?
So January of this year, January 2024, Griffin came to us and he said, I want to play baseball. And I think my jaw hit the floor like, oh, okay. So I called his coach, Carson Collister, that he's played with all these years, and Carson was so awesome. He was just like, yes, we want him, whatever capacity he can, If he wants to pitch, we'll pitch him. If he wants to hit, we'll hit him. If he wants to, anything. If he wants to coach, whatever he wants, yes. So we're like, okay, Griff, they'll take you back, they want you. Then kind of reality set in, with Griffin that, oh, my arm is not working, and this team is a grade older than me. They're using a new bat this year. We play the top teams in the state of Utah. I'm worried about facing these fast pitchers. So he's like, Mom, I love my team, but I think the place I need to be is with the kids my age. Can you call Coach Judkins and see if they'll take me? And I called Coach Judd, and immediately he was like, we want him. We love him. We want him, whatever he can do.
We love Griff. He's very laid back, and that's just kind of his personality on and off the baseball field. A great hitter, just kind of calms down the team, and we love having him. Griffin has always hit left-handed, which has aided him in this because he can still swing from the left side without the use of his right arm. The impressive thing is to come in January is when we started practice, and to have him throw left-handed, it's just, I think Skyler maybe mentioned it, he and I have talked about it before. We put him in the cage because he was so wild left-handed that we were afraid he was going to hit other players. And we've gotten to the point now, we were commenting on it today, he was probably 120, 150 feet away left-handed, throwing. His accuracy's great. We've pitched him a couple times this year from the mound. He's adapted so well, it's fun to watch.
He is determined. He's pitched in a game. We were up quite a bit. It was close to the end of the game, and Griff came to me and he's like, Mom, they want me to pitch. And I'm like, what? You're pitching in the game? And he's like, yeah, they told me, get ready, I'm going in to pitch. And so I went to one of the coaches and I said, Griff says he's going to pitch. Are you serious? He's like, yeah. He was throwing strikes in warm-ups and I want him to pitch. So he went in. He had 2 strikes on him, and the next ball came, and they called it a ball. It was so close, it could have gone either way. So he ended up walking this kid. And then the next batter got up, and he threw the pitch. Kid swung, hit it right back to him at pitch. He grounded it, grabbed the ball, threw it to first, and got the kid out, and ended the game. It was so crazy.
Yeah, and he was out there jumping around on the mat, like just jumping and showing emotion, which if you've hung around Griff at all, that's not him. He's like a cool guy, like he doesn't want to bring attention to himself, so he was out there, but he was so excited. Well, I didn't know if he would ever play again, and that's hard because that was something that was just like, man, out of all the things that he loves, like he loves to play baseball. He loved to pitch. He loved to hit. And we just thought that might not ever be, like we'd kind of moved on. So then to actually see him and have the coaches even just like, hey, we're gonna go throw him, I don't care, and put him out there, like it was unbelievable. I was in the parking lot, I was melting down, I was a mess. I can't believe it, I was so excited, I had so many emotions, like this is so cool, and he's just determined, and it's been fun to watch him just go and just play wherever they want him to play. And he's not, I mean, he's definitely lost some speed. He doesn't run the same, and he'll tell you that too. I don't know if it's because his knee, if it bothers him at all, I don't know, but it's just, there's been some challenges. It hasn't been all roses. I mean, it's been an uphill battle. There's been some, I mean, unbelievable things happen. He's hit home runs. It's just been, it's amazing. You know, like just it felt like his dreams were ripped away a little bit, you know, but I don't think he ever looked at it that way. I really don't. And it's been,
we all look at it as a miracle. Like,
yeah.
It's nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah, and if he would have told us that, you know what, I don't think baseball's in it for me, you know, I'm like, there ain't a person out there that would have said, no, you should try it. No one was like, you know what, I get it. You do what you got to do, you know, but that's what he wants to do, and he wants to just go play and have fun. That's what he's been doing.
Ever since he was little, just tiny, he would throw right, but he always got up and wanted to swing left. That was just so natural to him. And we always thought, like, that's so weird. Like, all of our kids are right-handed, hit right, everything right, but he wants to hit left-handed. And I mean, his hand-eye coordination's always been crazy. So we're like, well, if that feels natural, we'll just let it ride, you know? But I think we got our answer, you know, like if he was swinging right before this, I don't think this would be possible. So I just know for sure, without a doubt, that he was, you know, guided to bat left, because I don't think that baseball would be, even hitting would not really be an option unless he did it one-handed. Anyway, we just try and see the small little miracles in everything.
We joked earlier about baseball saving lives, but in this instance it did. How much more special is baseball to you guys now, and will it be because of the years you have ahead of you?
Yeah, so going back to that first weekend that he went back down to St. George after he played, and we kind of knew, and he wasn't playing. I remember I walked out with Mitt's team, and they were 9U. And I started talking to him, and I was just sobbing. The message was, guys, cherish everything about this and being here, because you don't know when it can be taken away. It's been incredible to watch these kids just rally around him and just be there to support him. And they just love him, and it's been special, for sure. We don't know how to even tell people thank you. Like, we really don't. Like, we've had so much support and so many things, just whether they're chasing our kids around, or, I mean, we got kids going everywhere, and we're down at the hospital, and they're at grandma's and grandpa's and cousins and neighbors, and I mean, they're all over, and there's just no way to really thank everybody, you know. And so, like, we just appreciate and just love everybody, and people that we don't even know, like, thank you. I mean, it's been amazing, and they just made the best out of a bad situation.
And I just hope and pray that everybody knows, like, we truly couldn't have done this without the help of our community and our family and friends. So thank you, everybody, for what you've done.
I think Griff, his story and the kid he is, has been nothing short but brilliant and inspirational. It's hard sometimes to think about and talk about, because you know, the culture we live in and the community we live in, it's all, he comes from great parents, Skylar and Cammie. I got to coach his brother Boston, who actually was the MVP for me this freshman year. Mitt and Drew are always around, good friends with my little daughters. So it's a family affair. So when that kind of stuff happened to Griff, kind of hit home hard, especially with such a good kid. As you can tell, he's kind of loose, carefree, and to be honest, he's probably the only kid I could see handling adversity so well like he has. In fact, when I say it's inspirational, I think it's inspirational to all of us, because a lot of times we can feel sorry for ourselves, or we have a hard day or a bad day, but coming to baseball and seeing what he's fought against the world and the adversity he's overcome, the kid has a smile on his face, and he just sincerely loves to be out playing baseball. His first time pitching, Griffin doesn't show a lot of emotion, or he doesn't try to show a lot of emotion. There was tears in his eyes when I went out to get him from the pitcher's mound. We let him throw a batter. He got an out, and the the tears that swelled up in his eyes, and you could just, in the hug that he gave me, it probably was one of the coolest, if not one of the coolest moments I've ever seen on the baseball field. And I've been around a lot of baseball, and seriously, I told Coach Judkins when I walked off, I was like, if you watch the movie Moneyball, you all know when he says it's hard not to be romantic about baseball. That was one of those romantic moments in baseball that I'll never forget, and I hold dear to my heart with Griff. It's about coming together and uniting and being one for the community, and Griff has brought that. And to be honest, it's been a struggle from where we started this team in baseball. I wouldn't say they're natural baseball players, but we've gotten better. We worked, and I almost feel like Griff was the missing link, and everything happens for a reason. And ever since Griff's joined our team, the demeanor of the kids, the demeanor in me, it's changed my perspective in life. It's just been what we needed, a part of this ball club, and it's shown. We've won a few tournaments this year, sitting on the winning side of a record, and it's not all about the wins, but definitely Griff's a winner, and he's a gritty kid, and it's shown on our ball club. Throwing right and then throwing left has been a challenge, but I think I heard Camus say it. He's throwing at 125 feet now. Griff is probably rapidly gotten better every day at throwing left-handed. Evident that we threw him on the mound because we trust him enough to throw strikes and stuff. So another year of hard work and stuff. I think he's going to get it. And playing first base, his eye-hand coordination is some of the best that I've seen at his age. Anytime a ball's hit to him, he's going to catch it. That's not a worry. It's just about the adjustment he's got to make, and he's done a great job. And he was a great hitter before, and he still has that beautiful left-hand swing, even though you can see if you've ever been to a game and seen him hit, he's got that strap that kind of hinders him a little bit, but the strength in the paw, it's just a beautiful left-handed swing.
So obviously a lot of lessons to learn in baseball, but with having your kids be exposed to something like this, how does it help them all grow as a team and be better people?
Well, like I said, that's the hard part of not getting emotional on the side a little bit. It's a good reminder, and it sucks, to be honest, that it has to happen to somebody. And it happened to Griff, but he's had a great attitude about it. And like I said earlier, I felt that it's brought our team together, it's brought our community together, it's brought our families together. When I think about Berry River baseball, and you've talked enough to Coach Hawes, it sincerely is about tradition and family, and the White family is part of that deep culture. Skyler was a great baseball player when he played in high school. He's one I looked up to, and then we came through and did our thing, and now our kids are coming through. I guess it's one of those things in a small town atmosphere like we have. When adversity hits, it's about rallying around a kid, and the kid having enough courage. I mean, I guess that's the biggest inspiration from Griff, is he has the courage and the strength every day to do what he does. And you can see him out there right now. He's smiling, laughing, brightens everybody's day up. I got so much love and enthusiasm for that kid, that no matter what he decides to do in life, he's going to excel. And that's a good lesson for our kids to learn, that no matter what happens, so what, things didn't go our way, you have the opportunity and the choice to decide what the outcome's going to be. And Griff's deciding that right now, what the outcome's going to be, and he's doing it for the positive. And like I said, I'm just overwhelmed with emotion with him, because I'm so deep enriched with Bear baseball and being from this community that I love it, that there's a story like that, adversity, and Griff's going to be fine, and he's going to do some amazing things. He already has done amazing things. Like I told you, that story pitching, that's an amazing feat. A lot of people are astonished that he was even out doing that, including me, and to see the tears and joys, I just can't say enough about the White family and Griff, and just love them to death.
I'm Zach Kent. I've known Griff since probably about kindergarten. I remember we were in like 2 different classes, but we'd switch classes a lot, and I just remember one time I went in there, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Griff." And I was like, "Hey, it's Zach," and always just kind of stuck together since.
And how's it been being able to play baseball together?
It's awesome. I remember, like, we were all this team first, and he was playing a year up, and he'd always say stuff about that, and we'd say stuff about our team. And then he had said he wanted to play for our team, and when he said that he was going to, I think we're all pretty pumped about it, because good friend, good player, and he's just a good vibe in the dugout, on the field, and everything. We tried to make people know. We made posters for him every time he'd come home. When he finished his last little thing, we set up a finish line, and he actually drove his grandpa side by side through it and stuff. It was pretty neat.
I'm Camus Christensen, and how I met Griff, well, we met in like kindergarten, and he'd always tell me, I was always scared to hit off of him because he was really good, and I watched him pitch when he was younger. But I knew him in kindergarten. We had a few classes together, and yeah, that's how I really knew him. And we were all just really good buddies. We'd always go fish together. We always would talk about hunting. Me personally, I could have never thrown left-handed, but now he could throw like 125 feet easy with his left arm, and he can play any position. The cool thing is he's pitched a few times this year too, and it's really cool how he can adapt that way, and how we adapted. We'd always cheer him on, and it's just a really cool thing that he's adapted really well.
Don't forget about Tree Mountain's monthly Farmers Market event held every first Saturday of the month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. through October. Tune in next week to see what's new on Talk of the Town.